Happy Monday, welcome back to Drinking by My Shelf. My name is Emma and today I am going to tell you my TBR for the magical readathon. That's why I'm wearing a specially themed magical t-shirt. This video is very kindly being sponsored by Luisa, so I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a minute. But first, let me introduce you to what the magical readathon is. So this is one of the most creative, imaginative readathons I have ever seen in my life. It is being hosted by G over at Book Roast. You may have heard of it before. This is not the first time G has hosted a magical readathon. She's actually been doing this for the last few years and it's always been incredible. I've always taken part. But for the last few years, the magical readathon has been themed around the Harry Potter universe. G still did a lot of world building and storytelling by herself. She would create like the most amazing like scripts and leaflets and everything, like newspapers and adverts to go with it. It was amazing. But the universe it was set in was the Harry Potter universe. Ever since last year, when some things that J.K. Rowling said started to surface and people started to get very uncomfortable with that author and that world, G decided to stop hosting the magical readathon in the Harry Potter universe and instead come up with a universe completely by herself. And that is what she has done. And it is out of this world, literally, because it's another world. I will link to her video where she announces it below and definitely go and check it out because she tells this whole story. It is honestly amazing. She has invented this universe, this history, these people, these different moons, like everything, and she tells you the whole story in that video, so do go there. And also linked under her video are like all of the resources that you need. If you're a big fantasy lover, you will definitely love this readathon. It is definitely like aimed mostly towards that world. I do know I'm not a fantasy reader really at all. I've chosen a few fantasy books for this TBR, but it's not really my thing, but that doesn't matter. Like the format of this readathon is so incredible that I just had to take part, and the prompts are not exclusively aimed at fantasy books. You can really make them work. There are a few that are definitely fantasy, but you have options, so you can really read whatever genre you like. So before I go through my TBR for the magical readathon, which by the way I will be doing all of this month, throughout the whole of September I'm going to be doing this and I will be vlogging it, so you'll get to see all of that at the end. I'm so excited. But before I tell you what I'm going to be reading, let's have a little word from our sponsors, Luisa. You have heard me raving about Luisa before. I'm actually an Luisa VIP partner. I love them so much and I do wear a lot of Luisa jewellery, like all the time. The reason that I love Luisa jewellery so much is multiple reasons, but firstly the jewellery itself is absolutely beautiful. I always get so many compliments on these. They're really good quality. It's fair pricing. This isn't cheaply made jewellery, but it's also not overpriced jewellery. It really is priced to reflect the quality that you're getting and the long lastingness of these pieces. I honestly wear these every single day. So that's reason one that I love them, is the jewellery itself is amazing. But also I really love Luisa as a brand. I love their missions, I love their values. They are committed to being a sustainable jewellery company. They are completely carbon neutral. They offset 100% of the carbon that is created from the creation of their jewellery. Everything through to sourcing materials, all the way through to delivery, to disposal, like everything is calculated and they offset all of it. September is actually their sustainability month, so particularly like drawing awareness to how amazing that side of the company is. And even though it's already so amazing that they completely offset all of their carbon, they're also committed to just getting better and better. So currently something that they can do is offset their carbon, but they also want to push to just creating less carbon in the first place. So they're increasingly using more and more recycled materials wherever possible. They're also now working on tracking and quantifying their water usage so that they can reduce that. Like, they are just a company that is just thriving and getting better and better, and I really appreciate having big companies like this take their responsibility for what they need to bring to change the world. So yeah, you're looking stunning and also changing the world. I'm wearing almost head to toe Luisa jewellery at the moment. I wear these pieces all the time. You'll see them in like all of my Instagram posts. I'm gonna just show off 3 pieces to you today, the newest pieces I've just added to my collection that Luisa very kindly sent me to show you in this video. So I have got now a ring on every finger. This has been my goal. I love rings, and I finally have one on every single finger, and these two are the final two that completed my collection. So I have here this stunning green one. This is the Michelle Signet ring, and this crisscross diamond one is the Jax ring. I think they are both absolutely stunning. I can't stop staring at my own hand. These are both £75 full price, but if you use my discount code, which I will put on the screen here and I'll put in the description box, you will get 10% off. And look how good they all look together. I'm obsessed. I'm also wearing basically head to toe Ana Luisa earrings, but the newest pair that I just got are their Toda earrings. And that is these ones here, this little double hoop. One with diamonds, one without. It's so stunning and so simple. This is £66 full price, but again, do use my discount code for 10% off. Aren't they so cute? I love them. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring another of my videos. Now I'm going to go through my Magical Readathon TBR. So how the Readathon works, I will let you watch G's video to explain it properly, but essentially this September version of the Readathon is kind of a little introduction. So starting next year in 2022 will be the first year of school, and depending on what we read and how we do in this month will determine certain things about how that school experience goes for us and what our character is. I don't know what those things are going to be yet. G has yet to announce them. It's very exciting. I can't wait to find out. But I really like that it's all going to be linked together. So there's two parts that we need to do in preparation for the first year of school. Firstly is to complete the novice path, and that basically just means fulfilling 2 prompts from a list. There's a list of, I can't remember how many. G has all of the resources, which will also be linked underneath her video, so do go through there. And I'm going to choose to tick off 2 of those prompts. So here are the ones I've picked. So the first stop that I'm going to stop off at is Obsidian Fall, and the prompt there is to read a thriller or mystery. So I've got this book here, The Appeal by Janice Hallett, which I have heard so many good things about. It's like multimedia, I think. It's all told through a collection of emails and notes, and like you have to piece together all of the clues. 1 murder, 15 suspects. Can you uncover the truth? So I think it's quite like interactive feeling. You feel like you're solving this murder. Everyone I know who has read this has loved it and said it was so much fun. It looks like cozy crime, but like a modern take on that. So cannot wait to read this one. I'm also going to stop off at the Tower of Rumination and read a 5-star prediction. So for this one, I don't know if this is slightly, I don't think it's cheating. It's just an interesting, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so I've got here the book American Pop by Snowden, Wright. Now this is a book that I have kind of read. I used to work at a literary agency many years ago, and I was working there when this book was one of the books that one of the agents I was assisting was representing, and so I read the manuscript. So this was before it had been sold to a publisher, so obviously the manuscript will then have gone through a lot of changes that I don't know about. At the time I read it, I adored it, and I like gave it in my head 5 stars. I read it all in one go. I have never read it since it has now been published, and I'm really intrigued to see what changes have been made. Will I still like it as much? Will it be basically the same, or will it be completely unrecognizable? Like, books can change a lot. So I'm predicting, but also kind of hoping, that this will still be a 5-star read for me. And I think it probably will be because I loved the concept of it. It's basically about, it's a novel, but it's like pretending to be a history, and it's about the family who created this, what's it called, Pan Cola. It's like a Coca-Cola alternative. And it like flashes back and forth through time, and it's telling the history of this like family dynasty. And I love books like that. I've talked about books like this in a video I did ages ago that was novels that pretend not to be novels. So something like this, something like Daisy Jones and the Six, where it's like pretending to be interview transcripts of a real interview with a real band. I love that kind of thing. So I'm hoping this will still be 5 stars. Once I've read both of those, I will then have completed the novice path, and the next mission that I have is to fill out my character creation sheet. So G has created these little character creation pieces of paper. This is what's going to become relevant next year. I will go into my first year of school knowing that this is my character. But first I have to make myself a character, and the ways of doing this are again to read different books. So there's an option here to see whether I came from a rural area or an urban area. I've decided to go with urban and read that prompt, which is a book set in a city. I don't have it yet. I have ordered this book. It is on the way to me. It'll be here very soon, but that is Rainbow Milk by Mendez. This one is set in the early 2000s, and it's about a 19-year-old black gay boy moving to London. I heard Lauren from Lauren in the Books talking about this one. She said she loved it. She said that the main character, Jesse I think his name is someone that she would like definitely be friends with. I'm also reading this one with my book club, my offline book club, so yeah, I'm really excited for this one. You then have to decide which province you come from, and so I'm going to say that I come from Carador and read a book from an ongoing series. This book, A Marvellous Light by Freya Marske, isn't out yet, is going to be book 1 in a series, and this is where my little fantasy attempt comes in. I'm actually reading this one for a read-along that I'm running through work, but I think it sounds so good. I think even for a non-fantasy lover, I think I'm going to enjoy this because it's a queer love story. It's set in like Edwardian England, like an alternative magic one. It's got a queer romance, it's got like mazes, it's got magic that works through like cat's cradle string. It sounds very cool and it's very pretty. My heritage, I've decided, is going to be Earthling. So there you have to read a book that has an element word in the title. So was it fire, air, water and earth? I'm going to be a water Earthling and I'm going to read Black Water Sister by Zen Cho. Again, giving fantasy a go. This is another one that does really appeal to me even though it's outside my comfort zone. So this is about a young girl called Jess. I mean, not that young. She's left university. She's been raised her whole life in the US, but her family are from Malaysia, and so in this book she is packing up to return back to Malaysia for like the first time since she was a toddler, and she starts hearing the ghost of her late grandmother in her head, sending her on this mission that's all about like ghosts and goddesses. She's also gay. I think I can read fantasy if it's queer fantasy. I'm into it. I think it's gonna be really good, and once again I've heard fantastic things, and not just from fantasy lovers. So those are the 5 books I'm going to be reading for the Magical Readathon. I will be vlogging all of it, and I also am going to use this readathon to complete the rest of my character creation sheet. So there's a whole section here for Scholars' Traits, which G said is basically where we have a space to come up with our own story, our own description of who we are. I think that's a really fun idea for people who are into like Dungeons and Dragons style games, like love coming up with their stories. I'm not creative enough for this. I can't think of anything, so I'm going to turn it, like I turn everything, into a game. I'm going to use all 5 of my books to come up with the answers here. So starting with my name, as I start reading the appeal, I'm going to write down the first 5 names that I come across, and at the end of the book, when I rate it 1 to 5, whatever I rate it, whatever name that corresponds with, that'll be my name. Does that make sense? I think so. I'll do the same with American Pop, but in this case it'll be descriptions of buildings or homes, again 1 to 5, and then whatever I rate it will correspond with what kind of house I grew up in. In Rainbow Milk I'll write down the first 5 appearance descriptions that I come across, and then one of them will apply to me. In A Marvellous Light I'll write down the first 5 personality descriptions that I come across, and then one of them will apply to me. And then finally in Black Water Sister I'm going to write down the first 5 like objects or hobbies or things like that I come across, and then whichever one corresponds with me will be my like favourite hobby, my favourite obsession. Maybe I'm obsessed with like sewing kits or hairbands or watches, I don't know, whatever I come across. You'll get to see all of that play out throughout my vlog, so make sure that you are subscribed if you aren't already and hit that bell so you get notifications when my vlog goes live, and you can watch all of that play out and see which character I ended up being. And a massive thank you once again to Luisa for sponsoring this video. I will put my discount code on screen again, so don't forget to use that to get 10% off. You can also use my link in the description box below, and you can go and get maybe my Michelle signet ring, my Jack's diamond crisscross ring, my Toda earrings, or any of the other beautiful jewellery pieces that they have on their website. Their collection just keeps growing and growing. Every time I look at it there is something new and stunning. So go browse, have fun, buy yourself something special. Hippo, who are you barking at? I better go and see who Hippo's barking at. So I'll see you soon.